Mulligans and Hackers Golf Podcast Episode 8. I'm Chris, and this is Alvin.
Hi.
And we're sitting by the fire after we just had our inaugural season championship tournament to close out our year.
Yeah, done. First season in the books.
20 events and a season championship already done.
Done.
That's kind of crazy.
Where'd the season go?
Yeah, it's wild. It seems like we just started the season not long ago.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Here we are, we're done. And it just seems like only a couple of months ago we were starting.
Yeah, we started what seems like not long ago, and here we are. We're waiting for the snow to hit and our actual golf season to be officially over.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is scary.
We're going to fight to see how many rounds we can get in before the snow starts.
That's right. Playing as many rounds as we're able over the next few weeks here until the weather takes a turn for the worse, and we're no longer able to get out on the golf course. Might have to resort to the simulator once in a while. And
there's
indoors.
a new place opening up in town.
Yes. Yeah, I had seen that a few months ago.
Do you know what it's called?
I can't remember what the name is.
Something 54?
But they're looking at having, I think, like 4 or 5 golf simulators in there, which will be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's wild. So at least we can take the clubs out over the winter.
Yeah, we could probably take the clubs out. Might even do a podcast there. Doing
maybe
a review while we're out there, just talking about it possibly.
Hey, that's a good idea. That's not a bad idea for the winter,
right?
Yeah.
Get you guys a little interested and keep in touch with how we're doing. Well, last time we were on, we teed up our season tournament or our tour championship,
which was a 2-day event, cumulative score.
Cumulative score, yeah. And we started on. We had some people coming to town. My dad, Chris, came into town, and my cousin Jake came in. And
so we had 9 guys participated in the final championship.
Absolutely. And you know what? The weather was a little suspect on Saturday, but I think the tournament was awesome.
Oh, I don't think I heard a bad thing from anyone about it being not fun. It was just a blast for all of us. The groups changed from Saturday to Sunday a little bit.
Yeah, our feature group so Saturday we did random draw groups. I did those on the Wednesday beforehand. Group 1 ended up being Chris Bazang, Josh Monroe, and Clark Croissant. Group 2 ended up being Darren Odland, Chris McKeon, and Dave Comstock. And then Group 3 was you, Alvin, myself, Chris, and my cousin Jake.
Yes. And
we started on the 18th hole. Group 2 started on 17, and Group 1 started on 16 as we had to do a shotgun start because the men's league was having their wind-up yet on Saturday. So Saturday was an interesting day because it was not only was it a shotgun start, but the weather was horrendous.
It was cool, and the wind was intense.
Oh, it got up to like 65, 70K at points on the course.
So that added a different element to the round on Saturday. It was a battle the entire day.
It was crazy.
Everything.
The highlight of the day, first hole actually of the day on number 17. Big Dave. Big Dave pulls out for eagle from 130 yards out. We just hear hooting and hollering as we're on the 18th green.
So that's kind of how the tournament started, was with an eagle on number 17 for that crew. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I mean, we were sitting on the number 1 tee box waiting because the group in front of us wasn't quite off yet, and then we watched Big Dave step up to 18 and lose his ball into the tree and promptly take a 6 on hole 18 to do away with the eagle. As he would say, he peaked on 17, and that was the end of his round.
Yeah, peaked on 17, and that was the collapse.
Peaked a little early. But yeah, the weather was very challenging. You didn't quite know what the ball was going to do when it was in the air on a lot of holes. I mean, golf is a hard enough sport as it is, let alone trying to play in crazy wind.
Yeah, it's unreal.
We've played in wind sometimes, but that was just crazy.
I don't normally play in conditions like that.
Yeah, typically you would have been like, I'm not playing.
Yeah, I'm going home. I'll come out tomorrow type thing. And but no, we had to battle through on Saturday, and it was a battle.
Yep.
It wasn't a bad day for everybody, but the conditions made it a little more challenging for everybody.
Well, and the fact we were playing off the blacks, which on some of the holes, like some of the par threes, it's the furthest back tee box.
It's the furthest back tee box, yeah.
But on some of the par threes, they're so elevated out there already at Cottonwood that you get up there into the top where the wind is, and you don't even know how to hit the ball up there with the swirling winds the way they were on Saturday.
For someone like me, who's only probably hit off the blacks there probably no more than 3 times this year.
Yep.
Adding that win element Saturday really just threw a wrench into everything.
Absolutely. It was, we knew playing off the Blacks would be a different challenge for some people.
But everybody was under the same conditions.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
I don't think anybody had an advantage over anyone else.
No, and Jake actually came out Friday, and we got a practice round in. You joined us on the back.
I joined us on the back nine.
Yeah, and myself, Josh, and Jake played a practice round of 18, and you joined us on the back to get a little work in before the next day. And yeah, it was an awesome day. I think the way it separated out on the first day kind of was the way it probably should have been.
You bet. Yeah.
It was. Things were pretty tight. Maybe partially to do with the wind, probably, but also partially just because that's the way it's been all year.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, what were our first day scores, Alvin?
So Chris McKeon had a really good day on Saturday, even through the elements.
Yep.
And shot an 82 plus 16.
Yep. Yeah.
He didn't use his mulligan on Saturday that he had.
No, so he had the lead, right, after Monday?
He had a 4-stroke lead over you and me, who finished at plus 20. We both shot an 86 that day.
Yes.
And I was really happy that I stayed with you that day.
Yep.
I really didn't know what Chris was shooting, but I know in you and I were in the same group with Jacob.
Yep.
And I knew I was staying with you.
Yep.
So when the score got in and we were tied, I was really happy with that Saturday performance.
I had one of my worst front nines I have had in I don't know how long.
Yeah, and I'll take that.
It was tough for me. And I did say after 9, I'm like, hey, you had your time to play. It's time for me to play now. And my back nine was much better. I did finish with a birdie, which kind of set my tone as the day ended, which was nice to kind of get me back to even with you and into that final group with Chris for the second day, right?
Yeah. So Darren finished at a plus 21 with an 87. So he was only 1 stroke behind us.
Yeah, only 5 strokes back of the leader.
And then Clark shot at plus 24.90, which wasn't too bad on Saturday with the conditions.
Yep.
Big Dave shot a plus 29.95. Jacob shot a plus 35.101. And Chris Baisang shot a plus 42.108. And Josh had a rough day at a plus 49.115.
Yep.
And that finished out our Saturday from 1 to 9.
So that set up our groups for Sunday. So then our first group on Sunday, our 9:30 grouping, was Jacob, Chris Bazang, and Josh. And they went out as a group, not really with much of a chance at contending, but they got their round
because they were going to set the tour championship standings anyway, so they had to go out and play for position as well.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. So they went out the 9:30 group. The 9:40 group was headlined by Darren with Clark and Dave. Darren was definitely in striking distance. Clark was kind of outside striking distance, and Dave really needed a little bit of help if he was hoping to lock it down. And then we followed in the feature group of the day with Chris, who is the leader, Chris M, who had the 5-stroke lead or the 4-stroke lead going into Sunday. You and myself. We didn't really know what everyone else was doing when we teed off. I know Chris got up because we teed off from best score, and if you were tied, then it was season standings down off the first tee box. Chris got up on the first tee box, Chris M, and he promptly ran a little worm burner out there to the left, which kind of was like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of life. I stood up and I put one straight down the fairway. You followed me and put one straight down the fairway, almost side by side with my ball.
Yep.
I do believe Chris took, 4 to get on?
Mm-hmm.
It took him 4 to get on, and he ended up with a double bogey on 1.
I mean, you and I both parred.
Did you par on the first one?
I believe I parred.
You bogeyed. You bogeyed. Yes. I parred the first one.
So you took a 1-stroke lead on me there.
Yeah, and I got 2 back from Chris there.
We both,
and then 2 was an absolute disaster for everybody.
Yeah, we used some mulligans on number 2 that we had earned.
That was just crazy. So I got up first. I pulled my tee shot left, OB, and I was like, well, I got 3 mulligans. I'll use 1. Well, I kind of thought about it, and then I'm like, I'll use 1. Well, then my next shot, I hit it in front of the 16th green, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go play that one. So, and then you hit yours into the right water, right?
Into the right water, yeah.
And then you took a mulligan and put the ball exactly in you were more left, but you got a bad kick.
Yes.
And got kicked into the tree.
So I still, even using the mulligan, I still had to take a drop.
Yes.
Which came back to bite me in the butt on the par 5 on the back as well.
That's right. And then Chris put his into the tree or into the hill and had to take a drop as well. And then I went down to play my ball, my second shot, put it into the water, ended up having to take a drop anyways.
Yep. So
and I mean, I ended up getting out of there with a triple bogey. I think Chris had a double because he was on the double train. You saved bogey,
yep,
which was good. And then at 3, I believe, Chris took another double. Yep. He was riding that double train hard.
Yeah, he struggled all day Sunday. All day he was struggling to get off the tee box, struggling to get to the green.
And the weather on Sunday was good. It was scoring weather. It was if you were going to come out and lay down a score, it was there to do, right?
And I think that's what you did.
Yeah, I managed to finish out my round, my highlight of the day, and probably the highlight of my round, the highlight of my weekend was
number 7.
Yeah, number 7. If you listen to the podcast before, I've been fighting that hole for the last 2 years, trying to get a birdie on it. It's one of the par 3s. Last hole in the entire course I've yet to birdie. So I missed right with a little 9-iron, it's pitching wedge. I missed right with a pitching wedge, got a bounce. I was about 40 yards out. So I think you were just up in front of me to the right as well.
Yep.
And Chris had come up short on the front. So I kind of was over there, grabbed my 60. I'm like, I'm 40 yards out. I just kind of want to land it. It was front flag. So I was like, I want to land it kind of middle and roll it up, and then I'll, at worst 2-putt and get a bogey and get out of there, because that's a good score for me on that hole.
That was kind of my plan as well on that hole. Just get it on the green, 2-putt, get off of the bogey, and move on.
Yep. So I hit my chip. I hit it really good. It was absolutely perfect. Hit it onto the center of the green, right into the break on the hill, and Chris was standing in front of the green. And he's seen it come down the hill, and he's like, "That's gonna go right in the cup." And I'm like, "No way!"
He made the call.
Like, he called it like when it was 11 feet away, and just drained out. So chip out birdie on 7 really set the pace for me.
And I think actually that's where the round changed for all of us. You started to play consistently better.
Yep.
And I kind of middled at that point.
Yep.
And Chris McKeon, he was still on that double bogey train, and he struggled for the rest of the round.
Well, I finished out the front 9. So going into the round, I was 4 strokes back. After the front 9, I had shot a 37, which was 4 over on the front. And Chris shot a 46. Mm-hmm. So a 4-stroke deficit turned into a 5-stroke lead for me.
Yeah. So that was a rough front 9.
Yeah. And then, down the back, anytime you tried to make a move, I was right there with you and matched your score, right? And really at that point, I'm kind of like, the only other person I'm probably worried about out there that might have a chance was Darren. Because I knew he was there. Yeah. He had the capability to be in that chasing pack with no pressure.
Well, he was only one. Yeah, and he was only 1 stroke behind us.
Yep.
Going into the round, so if he put up a good score, he would have been there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think he had a rough front.
Yes, he shot I think like a 46 on the front.
Yeah, but he really tried to make a charge on the back.
Yeah, he shot 36. He shot a 3 over on the back.
Yeah.
And I had a really good score going into 16, 17, 18. And I went double on 16. I ended up doubling 17 because I went OB. Had to take a drop because I didn't have any mulligans left. On 18, at that point, I didn't know what the scores were, but I was pretty confident that, I
had imploded on the par 5.
Yes.
Because I took my tee shot and it sliced into the drink.
Yep.
And then so I used my last mulligan and teed it up again and put the ball basically in the same spot, so I had to take a drop down there.
Yes.
Struggled to get over and struggled to get on the green, and so I took a 10.
Yep.
And that pretty much sealed the deal for me. I was out.
Yep.
And then on the next hole,
I think you took 2 drops again, right?
I took 2 drops again because I couldn't get off the tee box. I took a drop over the creek. And then my 3-wood, I flushed it. But it came out a little left, and I put it in the shit again and had to take another drop. So I took a triple on that one. So that
was kind of the end of your day.
A +5 on the par 5, a triple bogey on the next hole. Because on hole 13, in my mind, I told myself, well, now, Alvin, you got to attack. There's no trying to put up a good score. If you want to make a run, now you got to make a run. Well, on 13, I parred it.
Yep.
But then imploded on the par 5.
Well, you parred 13 by making a really nice chip on.
Yes.
Really close, and then you made your par. But I matched your par.
Exactly.
Because
But my mental state at that point was, you have to go for everything.
Yep.
And that kind of just threw my game out. I don't attack. I just play hole per hole.
Yep.
So
You're not really built to be a chaser.
Exactly. So it cost me down the stretch, but I was still happy with how I played on the weekend. Take those 2 holes out.
Yep.
And
the rest of your round was pretty sound.
Exactly. And my Saturday round was pretty sound for me, for how I've been playing.
Especially given the wind.
Yep. So I wasn't too disappointed with the weekend, other than, not winning. But both rounds I can deal with. A couple of bad blow-up holes. I was trying to avoid that, which I avoided on Saturday but couldn't avoid on Sunday. But that's the point of having a 2-day tournament, right?
And see, on the par 5 for me, I lost my tee shot out to the right, which is open, which I do probably 80% of the time because it's so wide open onto the 15th fairway. But I lost it out to the right. And depending on, if I had strokes to make up, I would have attacked because I was 200 yards out and I had a line at the green. But I got up there and I'm kind of like, well, I'm pretty comfortable with where I am. So I just took a pitching wedge. I played it back to our fairway to approach depth, chipped on. And then I ended up on the wrong side or the wrong tier of the green. So then I was like, I'm happy with a 3-putt to get out of here with a bogey. That's enough for me today. And I was willing to accept that, right? Just to limit the damage.
Well,
that's all I needed to do.
After my par 5 and how Chris McKeon was double bogey in pretty much everything, you just had to play out the round.
Yep.
Don't blow up. Just play out the round, and you were cruising into that. So, that being said, Saturday and Sunday, you're the champ.
Yep.
So congrats on being the champ.
Yeah, I finished with the 78 on Sunday for the top score of the weekend, and a cumulative 164.
It was 164 plus 32 for a 2-day tournament.
Yep.
So then Darren finished second.
Yep, because of his really good back end on Sunday.
So he shot a 169 plus 37, so he was only 5 strokes back.
Yep.
So that was good. Chris McKeon did wind up finishing third with a plus 39, 171. I came in fourth with a combined 2-day round of plus 42. So I shot 174, cumulative over both days. Clark came in fifth with a plus 45 for 2 days.
Yep.
So 177.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Yep, pretty cool. Solid. He was there.
Yep. Jacob came in.
That's probably the surprise of the weekend because he shot 101 on his first day.
Yeah.
And then the second day he shot like an 86.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So Jacob came in sixth with a plus 55, 187.
Yep.
Then Dave came in at number 7 with a plus 59, 191. He didn't have a great couple of days.
No, he as he would say, he peaked on the first hole, pulling out for eagle, and that was his tournament.
Yeah, but again, he has the only eagle in our championship series. So
that's right.
Then Chris Bysang came in at 8th with plus 63, 195. Josh had a couple of rough days. He's been really good down the stretch.
Yeah.
At breaking 100 and even broke 90 once this year.
Yep.
But brings up the rear in 9th place with plus 82, 214 for both days.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you should say that because we were talking about it yesterday and on the way back to the house. I actually lost more balls than he did yesterday. Taking my mulligans, I ended up losing. He lost 2 balls and I lost 3. And we were laughing about it. He's just like, it's not often that I can say I lost less balls than you did. I'm like, right? Just had one of those days.
But it was a really good weekend and a really good season. I mean, it was a lot of fun. So you're the champ, and not only are you the champ, you made the clean sweep of the awards. So our out-of-town points, you came back and took it from me. The season wins, the trophy for that you took, and you took the season championship.
Yeah, you got a nice spiffy jacket.
Yep.
Mulligans and Hackers on it. Nice spiffy trophy.
Check out the pictures on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
We put up a whole bunch of pictures there.
Yeah, at Mulligans and Hackers Golf on Facebook and at Mulligans and Hackers Golf on Instagram. Who ended up doing our trophy and everything for us? Was it Rad Casuals?
Rad Casuals did our shirts.
Okay.
And the logo for the jacket.
Okay.
And
shout out to them for doing that for us.
You bet. So Taylor and Kayla did the screen printing for the trophy.
Okay, nice.
So and they're on Instagram as well.
Yeah, I think we tagged them in the post for the trophy. So check them out if you guys need anything done here in Medicine Hat.
And I think Rad Casual, we got some really nice golf shirts, and Rad Casual did a really good job at at putting our logo on them. And
they're beautiful. Beautiful.
And we a bunch of us wore them over the weekend, and
yeah,
they're really nice.
I'm wearing the orange one on Sunday that I got, and then me and you wore the blue ones on Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah.
And it was just a fun tournament. It was, again, golf is an individual sport. I didn't think, like, I can usually handle pressure pretty good, but again, it's a different animal.
Yeah.
And I did feel a little bit of pressure on the weekend. Going into Sunday, not having the lead, I almost felt relieved, honestly.
Yeah.
I kind of got to the golf course, and I was talking to Darren before you showed up, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I was like, we can go out there and play golf because we don't have the lead. We can just try and lay down a really good score. And if we win, great. If we don't win, if you have the lead going into Sunday and you don't win, it's almost like the pressure got to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because in my personal opinion, I think Chris McKeon coming out of Saturday with a 4-stroke lead was a huge surprise.
I agree.
I think.
Yeah, I agree. Given the way the tournaments have gone lately, that was a bit of a surprise for me. Like when we finished our round at 86, and me and you tied, I kind of figured, I'm like, that should be pretty good on a day like today to get us into the final group. And then when I heard that Chris laid down an 82, I was like, holy smokes, he put down a great round today.
And then I knew you, me, and Chris would be in the top group. I mean, that's kind of.
It's almost fitting for the way our season started, right?
It is, and Darren being really close, and Clark and Dave having an outside chance at it. I think it just played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out from the way we started the season.
Yep. I mean, I said going into the weekend, I was playing to win it, and I was hoping that I'd clean sweep the awards because I had the opportunity, and to just rub it in your face a little bit all winter.
Yeah.
Because that's just a little bit of fun.
I really wanted to keep this podcast short and sweet because, it hurts me to look at you. You kind of make me sick with the clean sweep, but Hey,
next year's a new year, man.
I've got broad shoulders, and I can handle a lot of weight and a lot of pressure in life. But in golf, I can't handle the fact that you have all the trophies. That actually burns me. It almost keeps me up at night. But I'll get over it. I'll persevere and get through.
Hey, you know what I always say? You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yes,
and just play better.
I just wish there was somebody else that was best and not you. I could have almost handled anybody else winning the championship other than you. But I don't want to sit here and be bitter about the fact that you won. You won and you earned it, and I'll give it to you. But next season, we're going for broke, and I'm fucking winning at least a trophy next year. But that's for next year.
Well, you got 3 on the board, and I mean, if things go the way that we're hoping for next year, maybe we might add another major championship or 2.
Yeah, we might.
And there might be another trophy up for grabs.
We didn't really have an award for the. I'm glad we didn't, but because you would have fucking won that too. But pardon my French. But if we would have had the trophy for finishing first for the point season, did we have a trophy for that?
No. Finishing first for the point season was just for the Mulligans. Right. I mean, right. we could essentially do something of a trophy, but I think the Mulligans essentially is the benefit, right?
But if we have an award for out of town points and we have an award for wins,
I guess we almost should have one.
An award for finishing first for the entire season for points might warrant another award as well. And if that's the case, the one that we were talking about, the cylinder one, might be one that we can get our logo put on.
And I think
so. At least that one you didn't get to win this year, so you didn't get another fucking trophy in your.
Well, I mean, I guess
case.
If we didn't have it on a technicality.
Yeah, but at least there's no pictures of you with it. So
that's true. And I mean, next year if we do what we talked about and add the odd 2-day tournament into our schedule and call it a major tournament or something, then it's another option.
So over the winter, we're going to work on some stuff, try and get our schedule down for next year. We're changing a few things, more Sunday events.
More opportunities for us to play tournaments on Saturdays or Fridays, right?
Yep. There's some tournaments that happened this year that I'm kind of sorry that we missed. We did get into the Canada Day one at Cottonwood, you and I.
Yep.
That
was fun.
Next year, I think more Mulligans and Hackers guys should participate in that one.
100%. And I think actually Chris played in that one too.
Yes, you're right. He did. Yep. And we did Rolling Hills.
Yep.
Which was, for me, outside of the Mulligans and Hackers league that we did this year, that was probably my highlight of my golf this summer. I loved that tournament, and
that's why I think next year it's an easy that's the easy major to add.
Yeah.
We had the Rolling Hills major to our tournament schedule, a 2-day event, and
2-day event out there, and then do the tournament out there. That way we get to go out and enjoy that course.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful little hidden gem.
Yeah, it's one of my faves. So there's that. So we'll open up some more Saturdays for tournaments. That'll be a lot more fun. We'll get some more of our Mulligans and Hackers guys involved.
Yep, for sure.
We might try and add a few more guys for next year. A few more guys that can be consistent there, so that we get 6 to 8 guys that are there for 18 to 20 rounds.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
Still have our guys coming in, like our your family and you know, a couple of the other guys that want to cycle through. But I'd like to see more guys that can do it more, and that way we have more guys when we go out of town.
Absolutely, and that's more fun. I mean, the out of town trips this year were so much fun.
Yeah,
I can't wait to do it again.
And I hope we get to do the draft tournament next year in Calgary.
Oh, we're doing that for sure. For sure.
I've already been talking to those guys, and I paid attention to that over the weekend that they had it, which I do believe was the weekend before last weekend.
Okay, so 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago. And it looked like an absolute blast, and I was sad we missed it this year, but I kind of picked up on it late, and we didn't.
Yeah, we really weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, we weren't prepared for it, but next year we're already prepared to go, and we'll take as many guys as we want, as many guys as want to go, and we'll go spend the weekend in Calgary and play golf with those guys.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah,
we're heading into the end of our season here. We're going to play some golf over the next few weeks and just have some fun and try and tune some stuff if we want to. Again, really, no pressure.
No
golf
pressure
now, right?
So I'm going out tomorrow with my daughter.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I'll get that round in.
Then we'll go Thursday, I think.
Thursday, and I might even join you on Friday.
Nice.
So and then we'll play Saturday and Sunday, obviously.
Yeah, I think I booked an 8:20 or 8:30 tee time Saturday morning and an 8:20 or 8:30 Sunday.
So we'll get. We still got quite a few rounds to get in for the end of the year.
Yeah, it's just there's no pressure anymore though. It'll be a different animal almost.
It will, but I think one of these days, maybe even Sunday, we're going to invite some guys out and we're going to do a skins round.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Hopefully, trying to get as many guys in as we want. Like go buck a hole or something, and just kind of have a fun little skins tournament.
And again, that's a different look at golf that we've never had before either, right?
Yeah,
playing hole to hole.
Yeah. Yeah, just playing for fun. Right?
Again, something else. It'll be a new experience for pretty much all of us.
Yeah,
because we've never played skins.
Are you looking at doing anything with your golf bag over the summer, or are you just going to kind of ride with what you got going into next year? I have, now that the season, like our Mulligans and Hackers season's over. My biggest change that I'm going to make with my bag, I've thought about changing up my irons, Wilson's to something else. Those performance to D7 performance improving irons, I don't think they're right for me anymore. Right.
I'm going to look at something else. If that doesn't work out, I'll still go with the Wilson D7s for next year. And
you can play them if you have to.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. But the biggest change is I am going to reevaluate the putter.
Yep.
I was happy with my blade putter for pretty much 3/4 of the season. Then I wasn't. And I took my Alien mallet putter out for a couple of rounds. I didn't mind the feel of that, but I don't think that's the way I will go.
Do you want to, speaking of putters, so Thursday when we want to go out, do you want to use my Scotty?
Sure.
Give it a try.
Yep,
just
sure.
give it a go and give it see if how it feels for you.
And I think that's for the rest of the season here. Now I'm gonna probably try and get my hands on some different putters.
Well, I mean, I have two. I have my Scotty and my mallet, and I mean, you can use the Scotty on Thursday, and then I mean, if you come out Friday or Saturday, if we're not playing for skins, I mean, you can use my mallet, and I'll use my Scotty. Right, and just kind of give you a different look at things. Yeah,
I think now it's time for me to find a putter that feels right.
Yep.
Right. I used the putter that I had because it's kind of what I boxed myself into.
Yeah, it's kind of what you talked yourself into.
Yeah,
right?
I talked for the entire year that I was going to use a traditional blade putter, a la Phil Mickelson style.
Yep. With claw grip and the whole 9 yards.
I went with that, and it worked for a while, but then it just, like the rest of my game, it all fell apart. So, but that's part of the game that I can work with by changing putters.
Yes. Yeah. Re-engaging yourself into it.
Exactly. And I thought the first time I brought my my mallet putter back out, it actually forced me to re-engage, and I did putt better.
Yep.
But I wasn't going to change out going down the stretch.
No, you had to get something comfortable, right? That's like me going down the stretch. I ended up sticking with my mallet because I use that the vast majority of the year.
But I do believe that the next putter I do choose, it won't be the 3.0 Super Stroke grip. It'll be the 2.0.
A little slimmer.
A little slimmer, and
the extra large.
I'll be getting the extra large, so it's a little because the claw grip I use, I'm not changing that. I don't think.
So I think going into next year, if you do that, I think you should sit down with me and we'll order off the Super Stroke USA website, and we can get you the free customized
Mulligans and Hackers that you have
with Paul put on it, like mine says Cass.
I still have a plan in my head to get Mulligans and Hackers on my name embroidered on my golf bag.
Yeah, I mean, I might go do that now and, put 2021 season champion, tour champion.
Fuck yeah.
Just list it down,
your
right?
fucking awards on your golf bag. I'm not fucking golfing with you anymore.
Well, I mean, you don't want to hear about it. You got to beat me.
Again, I'm going to hear about this shit for a year. And
I should have wore the jacket tonight while we were doing the podcast.
I would have went home. Fuck. Just see that shit. Okay,
I was telling you.
You won it. Now put it in a closet.
I mean, today, if I had time at work, I was going to go and print a picture and autograph it to my number one fan, Alvin, from Chris, with me and all my trophies that we had on Instagram.
And it would have been so nice they were sitting in front of a fire because I'd have burned that son of a bitch.
It's all in good fun.
It is all in good fun.
Next year, you get another chance.
Exactly, and
I mean, it just happened.
No matter what happened down the stretch, and you won all the awards and stuff. But for someone like, I guess for me, when I look at what we started here with Mulligans and Hackers at the beginning of the year, it couldn't have turned out any better.
Nope.
And we couldn't have expected any more out of this shit show that we put together.
Honestly, we put it together on a whim. I mean, the fact that we had such a beautiful trophy, such a cool idea with the jacket, and the different awards that we ended up having. I mean, the purple sombrero, I was wandering through a store and I'm like, hey, we're getting that, and we're doing that for out of town leader, and it just worked, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all the stuff that we were, as the season was going on and golfing was happening, we were adding the little things like, okay, we're going to add an award for this, we're going to add a trophy for that, and they started to work them. And I had it in my head what I wanted for our season championship trophy, and I found it.
Yep.
And I like how that turned out.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I like how the jacket turned out
really well.
I mean, we'll just do the same type of thing next year.
Yep. Yeah, we'll probably. I mean, obviously, we'll keep the trophy for each year. But, I mean, jacket-wise, I think we just pick up a new one every year, put a new thing on, and then the previous year's winner, gives the jacket to the new winner, just like they do with the green jacket.
And I think, that's a tradition we'll just keep going with.
Absolutely.
And, we'll keep doing posts. We're probably going to slow down over the winter here. I don't know if we're going to do one more podcast after this one.
Yeah, well, the Ryder Cup's coming up, so we might do one and just kind of talk about professional golf a little bit. We haven't
talked about professional golf in quite a while, and because we've had our own thing going.
Yeah, we'll do a deep dive into like the Ryder Cup and the last few weeks of the previous PGA season.
Yeah, so the PGA season ended with the FedEx Cup, and 11 days later the season starts again.
Yeah, wraparound season.
What a freaking turnaround that is.
I mean, nobody of a real importance was at the first tournament, but
John Rahm was there.
He didn't play
in the first tournament.
This past one.
This past weekend, yeah, John Rahm was there. He didn't make the cut.
Really?
He actually had to pull out of the Pro-Am on. They do the Pro-Am on Tuesday or Wednesday. He actually had to pull out of the Pro-Am because he had an upset stomach and he didn't think he was going to be able to make the round without making frequent stops to the can.
Interesting. Oh, I didn't see his name on the leaderboard. That's why I just didn't think he was.
Yeah, his name was not because he was not on the leaderboard.
Oh, well, that doesn't bode well for Team Europe going into the Ryder Cup. But anyways, we will have a podcast about that stuff. Head over to our Facebook, Instagram, Mulligans at Mulligans and Hackers Golf on both of them. I mean, check out all the photos that we posted from our Tour Championship weekend. We got photos of guys in action. We got photos of the trophy presentation. And we got photos of the jacket.
And I think next year we'll get a little bit more into that because when we were playing golf and we didn't.
It's hard to do both.
Exactly. Because we wanted to play golf and we didn't have people taking pictures.
I mean, I like how it happened yesterday because I mean, you kind of. D kind of showed up and started taking pictures and kind of helping us out that way, which allowed us to focus on the golf.
Exactly.
Which was awesome.
And we got some pictures that we needed to get through the day, right?
Absolutely.
So, especially in the presentation and that.
And
next year, I mean, this is our first year doing it. We're not social media types.
I mean, if anybody that listens to this has any feedback for us on how we can, make some subtle changes to improve our league, or maybe some, that you guys have a league of your own that you run, and there's certain things that you do that you found that work real good, let us know. Hit us up. Put a comment below our Instagram post. Put a comment on our Facebook. Make sure you like and subscribe on our podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to hear from you guys.
You bet.
Outside of that, I mean, with our season coming to an end, I think we're going to do a few little shout outs here, and then that'll probably be the end of our podcast for tonight.
These are just people in groups that we've had numerous interactions with on social media over the year, over the season, I should say, that has engaged us and we've engaged them, and we've had some pretty good chats back and forth. Other podcasts, other sites. On the Screws Golf, they have a podcast. Listen to their podcast because those guys are really good, and we've been chatting back and forth, and their podcast is entertaining. Then again, we've talked about these guys a lot. Glorified Donkeys, the Caddies out of California. Their podcast is...
They always have great stories.
Is for entertainment wise, if you like golf and you like to laugh and get a kick out of guys talking about being caddies, that's the podcast. And I can't say enough good about their podcast and how enjoyable it is, because they're in the game and they do a lot of, they're just caddies. They get groups and they get picked to go out and caddy for groups, and the stories that they tell is just on point. And I can't say enough good about those guys. My Golf Spy, which is a company that reviews golf gear.
Yeah. And every day it seems like we get an email from those guys.
Yeah, and I've been chatting with them through Instagram, messaging them, and we talk about gear. And they have a podcast as well. It's a short one, and they talk about equipment and what they're doing to test equipment on the podcast. And that's No Putts Given. That's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, go check that out.
So check those guys out, because My Golf Spy is doing a lot when it comes to golf testing.
Yep.
They did a huge golf ball test this year.
Yeah, they were talking about that all the time.
I think they tested over 35 golf balls.
Wow.
And came up with some really interesting
some data.
information on that. So check out My Golf Spy and No Putts Given podcast. Then there's Putt That Podcast. That's another group that we've been chatting with, Putt That Podcast. They talk a lot about pro golf.
Yep.
They do predictions before every tournament, so if you need some insight going into the tournament,
if you're a bettor or something like that,
yep,
like to bet on that stuff.
Those guys on Putt That Podcast are some guys that you could really listen to. And all these podcasts are great for back and forth to work.
Absolutely.
If for us, when we were on our road trips to go golfing,
yep,
we threw on these podcasts. Putt That Podcast, Glorified Donkeys. We haven't listened to No Putts Given, but I listen to No Putts Given.
Yep.
I listen to that at work because with my job, I have the option of listening to this stuff at work.
Yep.
So I get caught up pretty good with this stuff at work.
Yeah, I throw some on every now and again while I'm driving out of town. Sometimes I got an hour and a half drive between calls. So
that's the podcast, and those guys that we've had some interaction with, a little bit of interaction with throughout the year. Groups themselves. Youth on Course. I've been plugging that group all year for what they do with kids and kids golf. I'll shout it out again. I did it with my daughter this year. I signed her up for Youth on Course. She has been with me at the golf course a lot this year.
Just about every Tuesday for like the last two, 3 months, right?
And we've gotten a few Thursdays in and some extra days on Sundays.
Yeah, just on a whim.
I cannot say enough good about Youth on Course and what they're doing for kids golf.
They're helping grow the game, which is what we want, right?
Exactly. And I had a membership this year, and we signed her up for $50, and she gets to play 18 holes for $5.
You can't go wrong for that.
I would rather for her to be at the golf course, and she really got into driving the golf cart this year, so that was pretty cool. As a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
I'd rather have her at the course, and for that price, you can't beat it, than sitting in their room or on their phone. This is just a way, and she enjoys it. She enjoyed it so much.
And it's a good father-daughter thing,
exactly,
right? It gets you guys out. It's a way for you two to connect on your own terms.
So Youth on Course, check out Youth on Course if you have young kids, and I think it doesn't matter. It goes right up to until you're 19.
Really? I didn't realize it was that old.
And there's different. I mean, you can get involved with it and get into the other aspects of youth on course, but just if you have a kid that just wants to go out and play golf and not take it too seriously, I mean, $5 for a round, for an 18-hole round. I mean,
you can't go wrong.
You cannot beat it.
No,
you cannot beat it. And our course, which is Cottonwood, that we play at, was really good with my daughter. She felt really comfortable at the golf course. She started talking to the people down there, and she's kind of an introvert, which just getting her down there was huge.
Yeah.
And then watching her interact at the golf course, talking to the ladies down there, talking to the guys that manage the carts.
Yeah,
she opened up as a young girl. The smiles you can't beat.
I was gonna say, I was gonna give a quick shout out to our home course of Cottonwood Cooley Golf Course. We had our memberships down there. We were down there so many times during the week. It was, I mean, I do work down there too, so they know me quite frequently. But we're basically it's basically family down there, right? I mean, from Colton, who looks after the carts, to the girls in the clubhouse that do all the bookings, stuff like that. To Mac, who's one of the owners in there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's super friendly. They run a really good club. The environment down there is great for everybody.
Yeah,
no matter from an adult down to a kid.
And no matter what your golf level is.
That's right.
It's still very inviting now.
Yeah, I've been to some courses where you go there and it's like, even at my level, I feel like I'm getting like pushed around the course.
It's stifling.
Right?
Right? It's it's a little stuffy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
hoity-toity. And I mean, golf can be that way.
Yeah, but to have a course or to belong to a course that's the way that Cottonwood is, it was, and this was my first year getting a membership as well.
Yep.
So we made that decision to get our membership down there, and it was a great decision. And I'm pretty certain I'm going to be back there next year. Get my membership.
I'm 100% certain I'm going to be back again next year.
Yeah, so I mean, again, thank you to Cottonwood. Thank you for hosting our tournament and having us out. And I mean, we're going to be there as much as we can until the snow flies and you guys shut down.
And the last shout out I got is a hat company, 36 a day.
Yep. Yeah, you won a few hats.
I won a couple of hats from him, and those were my tour hats the entire year.
Yep.
I took them everywhere we went, no matter if it was in town at Cottonwood or at Medicine Hat, or whether we went out of town to Rolling Hills, Burstall, Cypress. Those were my hats that I wore. So check out 36 a day. They're beautiful hats.
Absolutely beautiful.
And not overly expensive. He'll look after you. Check out 36 a day.
Yeah, and I got one last shout out. Guy in town, Bob Saylor Golf.
I guess, yeah, shout out Bob.
Yeah, this year I went in, I got my custom irons done early or around Christmas time, preparing for this year. Got my Mizuno irons done. He regrips all of our golf clubs. We take them down to him to do our work, right?
He's regripped my entire bag.
Yeah, and he's
including my putter.
Yeah, and he's done the same for me. And he's just a great guy to deal with. He's been doing it forever. He keeps saying he wants to retire, but he's got so much business it's hard for him to retire. But a huge shout out to Bob. He's always just a text away if guys need him, or if we need grips done at short notice. He's done it all for us. Right?
Yeah, he's done it all for us this season.
I mean, big thank you to him. My golf game, I think, really elevated when I got my clubs.
And I personally, when I watched your game at the beginning of the year, when you were still kind of hacking and slashing.
Yep.
But I watched how you started to work into your clubs.
Yep.
And by the end of the season, like, you had all your clubs dialed in. So your driver would put you out of position. Your 3-wood started, but those clubs weren't tailored to you.
No, right? They're
So Bob did your irons. So
yep.
Your woods,
my 4 hybrid up.
So your woods would get you off the tee box, whether you were in shape or out of shape. If you were into your irons in your second shot, you always had a shot. Yep. At the green. And I started to notice that as our season really started winding down. Second shot, you were it didn't matter if you were on another fairway. You were not out of position with an iron.
No, and as the season went along, I got more and more comfortable with my irons.
Yeah.
Especially my longer irons, because typically those are a little harder to hit. But even, as I spent more time hitting balls on the range and working them in, because I put in the work after I got my irons. I would hit, typically I hit like 100, 150 balls a day there early in the season, and then I'd golf afterwards. And then if I didn't have a good round, I'd go hit another 100 or 150 balls. So I really took it this year where I wanted to do the work. I had the tools in my bag that were fitted to me. It was just a matter of putting the work in and getting to that point. And my game elevated as the season went along. It was nice to reach into my bag and know exactly, look at my distance and be like, I know exactly which club I need to hit here. And feel 100% comfortable
Confident
with it.
pulling it out of the bag, right?
Right? So I mean, yeah, I think that's something that you should probably look at, or that's a step that you should take eventually.
Yes, eventually that's a step I'm going to take. I did get an invite from PXG to go to Edmonton to get a fitting done.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that'll happen. I appreciate it from PXG, though. I know I've heard a lot about PXG, and I thought it was really cool that I made a comment on a post of theirs about the new driver.
Yep.
They have a retail driver that they're finally putting out.
Yep.
And it's price-wise, it is epic. I like that price point for a driver.
Yeah, what is it, like $350 or something?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, who was it just put out the hybrid? Was it Callaway or just did that super hybrid?
Yeah, I think it actually was Callaway, I believe.
And it's like almost $500 for a hybrid.
Yeah, we were just talking about this the other day because Josh was trying to convince me to go full Mizuno in my bag because my wedges, my 52, 56, 60 are bomb techs, and my driver and my 3-wood are Callaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, well, I don't know, but. Again, in order to buy a Callaway driver, you're looking at like $800-900.
Exactly.
In order to you can get a Mizuno 3-wood and a driver for the darn near the same price, right?
I mean, to
do the same thing.
As budget golfers that we are, and we're not pros, I don't really feel comfortable going and getting and fitting and spending $1,200 on a set of clubs.
Right.
Right. So when I'm looking at replacing something in my bag, if I was going to replace my driver, it's going to be with something economically viable. And when PXG put out this, we'll say, retail version of the driver, I would have loved to test it before I get it.
Yes.
And that's where that whole
conversation went.
I got a reply from my message saying I would like to do it. So then she put me in contact with the guy in our area for PXG, because PXG is not in Canada a lot yet.
No, they're not even really a hugely known brand. There's a couple one of the women's players, one of the high end women's players, top of the tour. She plays them.
Yeah,
I can't remember what her name is.
So I mean, that's something I might look into. And I mean, if all this COVID restrictions bullshit slackens up over the next while, and we start, getting a little bit more realistic on what's happening here, maybe a trip to Edmonton is not out of the picture in a year or two.
Yeah,
and maybe I will take them up on going and getting a fitting with PXG and going that route.
Yeah, it's the possibilities are endless, right? I mean, for now, we're just going to play as much golf as we can to close out our year and enjoy ourselves and recharge over the winter. And I'm sure we'll be playing on some simulators here and again and doing different things. And again, if that simulator joint does open up this winter, we'll definitely be stopping in. We could probably do a podcast there and do a review on it if that tickles our fancy at the time. I mean, outside of that, guys, this has been an absolute blast. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Thank you to everybody who has interacted with us through social media. Thank you to everybody who supported us by buying t-shirts and merchandise. Thank you to everybody that's traveled out to our events, participated, whether you be from out of town or in town. Thank you to all of our buddies here in town, Chris, Dave, Clark, Darren, Josh, who was living with me for the summer, Jake coming down and my dad coming down, Trey, who played for a little while, Sean, who came out, Isaac came out and played some. It was just awesome to get all of our buddies out and have something to play for and have a good time. And for an idea that started on a piece of paper, and we just were like, I don't know what's going to happen.
And here we are.
It turned out really good.
I think so. I mean, with all the friends we've made, new friends we've made, the ins we've made with some of the hidden gem golf courses like in Burstall and Rolling Hills. I mean, those friendships aren't going away anytime soon. And some of the friendships we've made at our home course now. And our good buddies that came out and supported us throughout the entire year. Again, you said their names. It would just be you and me without them.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, this wouldn't have got off the ground if we didn't have guys who were committed to help and build
to play more golf, and they did, and I'm happy about that as well.
And honestly, we did this not only to play golf, but to try and get better as golfers. And I think we could say that throughout the year, watching everybody play, everybody got better somewhere along in their game, right?
Yep.
Whether it was one spot or multiple spots, or however it was, everybody showed improvement throughout the year.
And it was such a blast.
Yeah, and I can't wait to do it again next year. And I mean, I got the green jacket, and I plan on holding on to it for a long time.
You had to say that one more fucking time, didn't you? One more fucking time before we end, you had to say you won that bastard.
Well, you got anything else you want to say, Alvin, or are we done?
I think we're done, buddy. It's been a great year. Thanks, everyone, again. And we'll probably get another podcast in here after the Ryder Cup, and that'll be season 1.
Yeah, you bet. And guys, thanks again for helping us out and making the season the best it was. And
I think we're going to try and do some more shirt orders over
Christmas,
over the Christmas, and probably before our next season starts. So
check out our Instagram and Facebook at Mulligans and Hackers Golf. We'll load it up on there when we're ready to do that.
Because the last batch of shirts we got was really nice,
beautiful. And if you missed out, that sucks to be you. I mean, until then, may your mulligans be plenty and your hacks be findable. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See you guys.